Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the kangaroo leather TechCraft Nike Mercurial Superfly 4 in the light bone and black colorway. Now inside the box, they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is black in color with black strings, and it features a light bone Nike swoosh on one side, as well as light bone Nike football branding on the other. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at what I think is definitely the best looking TechCraft colorway that we've seen so far, in the form of course, the Superfly 4. So in this video, we're going to be taking a closer detailed look at the colorway itself, because a lot of the images that I've seen online aren't necessarily accurate in terms of how these things look in person. So if you are planning on picking these up or were considering them at all, stick around and listen to what I have to say in regards to the actual color of this particular shoe. We're going to go over tech specs, performance details, take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet, as well as take a look at the weight of the shoe as well. So if you're interested in learning more about this particular colorway of the TechCraft Superfly 4, please stick around, watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $300 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now this is the third TechCraft colorway pack. That is definitely the most simple of the bunch. I think a lot of people will make the argument, including myself, that this is the best looking ones. The first one, in terms of Mercurial anyways, was black with the pink on the heel that a lot of people didn't like. I wasn't personally crazy about them. The second pack, which featured canvas and Volt yellow, was just a color combo that most people didn't like either. I didn't mind those, but they weren't all that popular. And this colorway, very, very simple, although you do have this light bone color for the upper, which is a lighter shade of kind of like a grayish white, I guess is the best way to describe it. We have seen light bone in the past from Nike, but never quite like this. This looks quite a bit different than the light bone Legend 4, I believe, that we got quite a while ago now. So as you guys can see up close, and I have this video set so the colors will be accurate in my video, it's not really a white, it's not really a gray. It almost has this kind of raw look to it, almost like an undyed leather, if that makes any sense. You see the grain, you see the imperfections in it, and it's actually kind of a cool little effect. It has this very kind of almost worn look. It doesn't have that brand new leather kind of perfect finish to it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You can see imperfections, you can see that it's a natural material, because at the end of the day, leather is the actual skin of an animal. In this case, the skin of a kangaroo. That's what kangaroo leather is. A lot of people don't necessarily kind of understand that. But nonetheless, just to give you guys a little bit of a comparison, I have the launch colorway of the Nike Tiempo Legend 6, which is white but has this kind of slightly metallic shade to it. So you can see side by side, this is definitely more white, this is definitely more gray. Then I actually have a pair of pure white, whiteout Copa Mundials from Adidas, and you can see side by side, these are again definitely more gray than they are pure white. So in terms of these things getting dirty, because I know a lot of people will ask about this, yes, it's a light shade of leather, so obviously it's going to get dirty, it's going to be hard to keep clean, it's going to show scuffs, it's going to stain, and this is the same finish that we had on the Canvas Volt colorway, where it's actually going to scratch as well. So you can see that if I take my fingernail and I just scratch it a little bit, it does actually leave a mark that is pretty much permanent in the upper. So if you like your shoes to look really, really new, this is probably not the colorway for you. But if you want that kind of worn out, almost like old cowboy boot look, I just think that's a really cool kind of feature of the shoe. It's not going to impact performance, it's not going to impact durability in any way. It just has this kind of finish to the leather that, like I said, is going to show wear over time. And then of course, as your accent color, you have black. So you have a black outline for the Nike swoosh, black in the laces, the exposed Flyknit, and the actual Nike skin covering of the Flyknit at the heel is all black in color. You have light bone, which again is kind of like that lighter gray color in the Nike swoosh, as well as the Mercurial branding going across the back of the collar. The ACC branding is there. It's in that same light bone color, so it's a little bit difficult to see against the black background, but it is in fact there. And then the sole plate, as you guys can see, black carbon fiber with that light bone translucent stud plate over top. That almost seems invisible when you actually look at it. You just don't see it because it is mostly clear. So that's pretty much it as far as the colorway is concerned. Again, it's not a bright white like it can look in some of the online pictures. It is definitely more of like a really light, almost like dirty white grayish color. But again, I really like how they look. It does have that kind of worn out look from out of the box, which again, is going to be a personal preference thing. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, but for me personally, I really like how these look. Let me know your opinions on them down below in the comment section. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the TechCraft version of the Superfly 4 isn't all that different from the standard Superfly. We're going to go over the details in just a second, but if you guys are interested in more information on the overall performance, I do have a playtest video up on my channel for the entire TechCraft pack, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave an annotation on screen. You can go ahead and watch it if you haven't already. So, with this shoe, like I mentioned, it's not actually that much different from a regular Superfly 4 because at its core, this is still a Superfly 4. There's no difference in the physical construction aside from the addition of this very thin layer of kangaroo leather, which you see here in light bone. So from the medial side, right here, kind of like 3/4 of the way through the midfoot, I would say, going all the way forward through the toe box and forefoot area, and then cutting off at the exact same point here on the lateral side. It's just a thin layer of kangaroo leather. You guys can see by the side profile, it adds very, very little extra thickness to the shoe. You can see the side profile right here as well. It's super soft, it's super thin, it's super pliable, and essentially what they've done is they've stitched it around the edges and I believe glued it or somehow fused this leather to the top of the Flyknit construction for the standard Superfly 4 and created this kind of hybrid system where, like I said, at the core, you have a regular Superfly and then on the top layer, you have this thin layer of leather. How does this change performance? When the shoes are on your feet, when you're running around, the responsiveness of the shoe, the way it feels in general just when you're using them is no different from a regular pair of Superflies. The only time you're going to notice a difference is when you make contact with the ball. The first difference is obviously because of the leather. It's going to offer a slightly more padded touch on the ball as opposed to a regular Superfly 4. That's obviously going to be a little bit thinner. Is this an overly padded shoe? Is it going to provide that leather-like natural sensation on your foot? No, it's still going to fit and feel like a regular Superfly. It's just a slightly softer, I guess more cushioned touch on the ball, to be completely exact. And then the other reason why it feels a little bit different is because you have that leather kind of covering the upper. So it does have a slightly different texturing, a little bit more natural, I would argue. It feels more like a leather shoe in terms of just the overall touch and the way the ball reacts against your foot versus a regular Superfly. I wouldn't say the regular Superfly or the TechCraft version is a better version of the shoe. It just depends on what you like. If I was given the choice, I personally prefer the TechCraft one just because I don't love wearing super thin shoes. I prefer the softer, kind of more padded touch that you can get from a thicker shoe or something with a leather upper. So for me personally, like I said, I do prefer the overall feel of the TechCraft model, but one isn't better than the other. It just depends on what type of feel that you like personally, because that is what's important at the end of the day. So, like I said, it's still a regular Superfly at its core. So underneath this leather, which by the way, I've gotten some questions in regards to TechCraft pack shoes as to whether or not you can actually just cut away the stitching and peel off the leather and be left with a standard Superfly 4. I don't think you can do that. I'm pretty certain that this stitching is not the only thing holding the leather on this shoe. It's also going all the way around the edge of the sole plate. I believe it's glued or somehow bonded to that top layer of Flyknit. So if you did try to do that, you would likely destroy the shoe entirely. So just keep that in mind if that was something that you were perhaps planning on doing. Nonetheless, like I said, underneath it's a regular Superfly 4, so you have the more dense, structured area of Flynet with the Brio cables, as well as the internal support cage. So that support cage, as well as those Brio cables that run from the base of the sole into the lacing system, when you slide your foot inside, pull the laces tight, it pulls on all those cables, it pulls on the internal cages, and really helps to lock your foot in place, giving you this nice, secure kind of one-to-one sensation. This is a very, very responsive shoe, despite the upper being very soft and very natural. And something that's great about the TechCraft pack is you get that modification in the touch from the leather, but the leather really doesn't take away from the overall flexibility and kind of sock-like sensation that you do get from this shoe. It's just a little bit thicker against your foot, I guess, if that makes any sense. Laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. You have the elasticated Flynet running through the middle of the foot as well as in the collar. It is, of course, a mid-cut shoe, which has its misconceptions. This does not add any ankle support. It adds very little protection aside from just a thin layer of material. And there's really no performance benefit to this. It's there, one, for looks, and two, to give you this more seamless sensation where it feels like the shoe flows onto your foot as opposed to something that's strapped to your foot. Because of this design, it does change up the fit in the heel. There is an internal heel counter made from a thin plastic material. There is a synthetic leather liner on the inside as well. And I'm going to talk more about the fit in the heel area of the shoe a little bit later during the on-feet portion of the video. Insole, fully removable, mesh liner on top, perforations throughout. It's a single layer of this gray foam. Nothing too fancy, but it does get the job done. And then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern, you have a carbon fiber construction, arguably the best looking sole plate on the market. Is it a top-notch performer? Yes. Is it better than anything else out there that isn't made from carbon fiber? Not really. It's thin, it's flexible in the right places, stud pressure isn't an issue, and again, it does what it's supposed to do. No complaints in regards to the sole plate, and of course you get that Mercurial stud pattern, which is part of the reason why the Mercurial line is so popular in the first place. It's very proven. It provides really, really good multi-directional traction. This, of course, is the firm ground version. So if you're going to be playing on firm natural grass, the amount of bite you get in pretty much any direction when pushing off is top-notch. That's something you can always expect from the Mercurial line, whether you're buying the Superfly 4 or any of the models below it. So that's pretty much it as far as tech specs and performance. Again, if you guys are interested in more info, be sure to check out that playtest video that I left an annotation to earlier in the video. And with that being said, let's move on to the weigh-in portion so we can get a better idea as to how lightweight these guys are. In terms of weight, obviously the TechCraft model is going to weigh a little bit more just because it's a regular Superfly with an extra layer of leather on the surface of the upper. But for the sake of comparison, we're going to compare them directly to the standard synthetic version of the Superfly 4 side by side using this scale so we can see exactly what the weight difference is. So keep in mind, these are both in brand new condition and both the exact same size 9 US. So this is a very fair comparison. We'll start off with the regular synthetic Superfly 4, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 6.9 ounces. Right at the 7 ounce mark is generally what you can expect the Superfly 4 to weigh in a size 9 US. That's the equivalent of 196 grams. So remember those numbers. We'll change the scale back to ounces, pull these off, and we'll throw on the TechCraft model, again, brand new condition, size 9 US. And you can see that they weigh in at 7.35 ounces, the equivalent of 208 grams. You're talking about a weight difference of about 0.45 ounces or 12 grams, which is a relatively small amount of weight. Is there a noticeable weight difference between the two? Maybe a little bit in hand, but honestly, when they're on your feet, given that it does have the exact same construction in terms of what you actually feel when you're wearing the shoes, the weight difference is pretty much non-existent. So if you're trying to decide between the regular and TechCraft model of the Superfly 4, they're both very lightweight, and in all honesty, I don't think weight should be a deciding factor. All right, so here is a look at the TechCraft Superfly 4s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of black and white Crackle SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, honestly, there's not a huge difference in comparison to a regular pair of Superflies. The shape of the shoe and the way it fits in general is identical. The only slight difference you're going to notice out of the box is that the upper will kind of feel a little bit less flexible just because you have that extra layer of material. Now, the leather is still very, very soft, from brand new, but after you wear them for 30 minutes, an hour or so, you'll notice that it softens up significantly and the shoes become pretty much just like a regular pair of Superflies in terms of overall flexibility. The only thing you're gonna have to get used to with really any of the mid-cut models from Nike is the way they fit in the heel. Due to this mid-cut design, it just pressures your heel in different ways that a regular pair of shoes wouldn't. So it's really, really important that you take the break-in process really, really slowly. Don't wear them straight into a game. Don't wear them straight into a free kick session. Take your time with them. Really light sessions, really light duty. And then as soon as you start to feel more and more comfortable, that's when you can start doing a little bit more intensive activities. And like I said, kind of work your way up to wearing them in a full actual game. But don't do that until, again, you feel 100% confident that the shoes are well broken in and they feel comfortable on your feet. As far as the fit of the shoe is concerned, it is a tighter fitting shoe as you would expect from a Mercurial. I know a lot of people, given that this does have a kangaroo leather upper, would expect the upper to stretch because it is leather. But like I said, the leather is sitting on top of a regular Superfly, and the regular Flyknit base for the Superfly upper is not going to stretch. The Flyknit's very structured. You have the Brio cables, which aren't going to give either. The leather is just a top layer. So for the most part, the way they fit from right out of the box is the way they're going to fit for their entire lifespan. And really, as long as you don't have excessively wide feet and don't mind tighter fitting shoes, they will fit most people. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the TechCraft Lightbone Nike Mercurial Superfly 4. If you guys are interested in a pair for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself. That'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $300 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the TechCraft Superfly, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.